Ultimately, and with subjective music taste aside, there is nothing wrong with Set Me Free. It experienced the same shortcomings as most projects that JYP Entertainment do. A framework of a concept is introduced, and a framework is what it stays. The creative direction teams at JYP do not seem to feel like they need to go further than the framework. I would guess they see a benefit to leaving the concept of their projects very vague or ambiguous so as to make it more open-ended to fans' interpretation, but I think this is what is hurting JYP groups the most, this almost debilitating lack of direction. As a bit of a disclaimer, I genuinely love Set Me Free. I feel like I've kind of unintentionally become a spokesperson for the criticism of Twice's retro sound because of that Lindgren video, but I'll be the first person to defend I Can't Stop Me and Set Me Free with my life. I'm sorry. That being said, as much as I love Set Me Free, I don't think it worked for me personally. I'm not talking about the retro sound, I'm talking about the content of the product. I think the end product is fine, but it ultimately fell flat on its face for a very specific reason, and I want to tell you why I think so. As the first comeback since Twice's contract renewals in 2022, whatever project was about to come next was inherently a new territory or new frontier for Twice as a group. And as we know now, the project in question was Ready to Be, teased at the beginning of 2023. Twice announced 2 upcoming projects, a pre-release English single in January and the release of an album in March. Moonlight Sunrise served as the pre-release English single to this album, released on January 19th, and on February 3rd, Twice begins the promotional period for the Ready to Be album, set to release the following month on March 10th. In the weeks to come, we get the usual member photo teasers, followed by track spoilers, and then video teasers. Notably, the Twice Set Me Free Teaser 1 stands out from all of this. It sees Twice taking off their makeup and posing to introduce this upcoming title track and release. This feels significant, unlike any other Twice teaser that we've seen before. This represents what this title track is going to be about, right? This conveys some sort of intention behind the project names, both Ready to Be and Set Me Free, right? Well, in retrospect, kind of. This moment, this teaser kind of sowed the seed for me that this project may be taking us conceptually in a newer direction for Twice. The teaser period continues along, and then the album releases on March 10th, along with the title track Set Me Free. The title track sees Twice exploring the retro sound again, but this time stretching back even further than the 80s inspired synthwave to late 70s inspired disco, with a heavy emphasis on the string section throughout the bridges and choruses. The strings begin in the pre-chorus, kind of pulling along reluctantly, but steadily increasing in momentum. It feels like we're building up to something big, and the strings are seemingly here to take us there. The strings follow along until we're shot into the chorus, where they now whip across the track with a furious intention. Twice clearly has something to say, and the instrumental is backing them up on this, without even knowing the lyrics. Given things like the teasers we received, the quite remarkable project titles Ready to Be and Set Me Free, there's something to be said here, right? The scene is set, Twice are longing to be set free from something in order to be themselves, so what is it? That's a little ambiguous. The leading message of the song seems to be that the relationship they're in will take the both of them to a new level of confidence where they can express themselves fully. The chorus reads, "I bet everything on me, risk it all, except for this love, fade out, gonna set me free. Get to the bottom of my heart, you just need to hold on to me, come and set me free." So, it's a love song in the end about wanting to be set free to the point where they can love this person without having to hide how they feel, which I don't mind at all. My, quote, problem with this song is not that it's a love song by nature, but rather that this song does not feel like it was always about that when it was crafted. I think the vagueness as to what this song is actually about is intentional. Combined with the teasers and music video, this is where the concept especially stings for me. The makings of a song about wanting to be set free from any limitations is there. We see Twice in the music video creating, building, and producing things. Momo's behind the camera, Jihyo's the star of the film, Junghyun is working through the film reels, Chaeyoung is a VFX artist designing a 3D world for Twice to perform in. Twice are visually showcasing the power they have to craft a reality that fits their artistic vision. The message is almost there. It is there, but in the end decides to take a safer route and double the meaning as a kind of love song. But again, this is intentional by the way the song is described by Twice and the people who helped make it. Set Me Free is a love song by very intentional design, but also is intentionally ambiguous, so the phrase set me free can be isolated by the viewer and applied to any context. It doesn't have to be a love song if you're not paying attention to the lyrics. This kind of ambiguous concept work is a very third generation convention from K-pop that to me does does not apply that well in the modern day. The projects that find the most success as of recently that are received the best these days are songs and albums that get straight to the point. You'd be hard pressed to find any well-received K-pop song that dances around what it actually wants to talk about. Even love songs, Afterlife by IVE, Super Shy by NewJeans, are very direct in their messaging. I have a bit of a tough time explaining my feeling about this. I feel like Set Me Free started as sort of a self-empowerment song and was changed into a love song when it got to Twice, and then Twice and/or Division 2 wanted to expand the song back to its original meaning in some ways, but not all. That would kind of explain the remarkable teasers and contents of the music video and the name of the album Ready to Be. With these clues, like the aesthetic of the album in mind, this song to me was very obviously meant to express the self-realization or the setting of oneself free from all expectations and stereotypes, but for some reason, in the pipeline, had to still maintain the love song narrative via the lyrics, and that's fine. I don't necessarily have a problem with it being a love song, but it ends up feeling like some kind of restriction to the narrative of the whole project. It's kind of ironic that it was a bit of a limitation for them in the end. It feels like they couldn't fully be set free from this love song concept. What we got in the end kind of meets us halfway there to what I believe was the original concept, which is fine. It's still a concept, but this is why it didn't work for me personally. Ultimately, and with subjective music taste aside, there is nothing wrong with Set Me Free. It experienced the same shortcomings as most projects that JYP Entertainment do. A framework of a concept is introduced, and a framework is what it stays. The creative direction teams at JYP do not seem to feel like they need to go further than the framework. I would guess they see a benefit to leaving the concept of their projects very vague or ambiguous so as to make it more open-ended to fans' interpretation, but I think this is what is hurting JYP groups the most. This almost debilitating lack of direction. Again, the fourth generation marketplace has kind of abandoned the open-ended concept. The most popular songs in the modern day get right to the point and commit to an idea or concept fully. That's what I think. Music taste aside, I think all Set Me Free ever needed was intention, which it does not have in the end for me. That being said, and as I said at the start of this video, I do love this song, and when I listen to it, I imagine the original concept about being set free from all limitations. That's kind of what I was expecting from Twice with the teasers in mind. As a group who had been active for 8 years at that point and certainly have been through a lot, surely they would have a lot to say with a concept like this. I know socially it's still a bit of a risk in Korea, but it came at the perfect time to take that kind of risk in my opinion. G-Idol released Nude a couple of months prior to that. The conversation had already started. I think it would have been a safe space for them to do so, but yeah. This is what I think. I am a Set Me Free defender at the end of the day, but I also see a lot of lost potential in this release, which is where I dwell a lot when going back to this album. Thank you for watching this if you did. Let me know what you think about Ready to Be and Set Me Free if you see this in a different way. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you next time.